Nu är ISPO 2019 snart slut och här är våra absoluta höjdpunkter från årets mässa. Varsågoda!
The Mindbender is based off our Powerlight shell design, which we launched last year with the Recon and the Love series. The Mindbender is lightweight, powerful, using multiple materials to create a really powerful, energetic, torsionally stiff boot, but with easy entry and lots of comfort.
All right, let's have a little closer look, and maybe what kind of flexes are we talking about here?
Okay, so the Mindbender is offered in a 130 flex,
yep,
a 120 flex, and a 100 flex.
Yep.
So the Mindbender 130 and the 120 feature a P-backs cuff. A P-backs cuff is going to be consistent over more temperatures, a little bit lighter, just highly energetic, but it's just a great use for it here. Really important for the Mindbender boots, all of them, is that the lower shell is all made of TPU materials, which are kind of proven durable, especially in the toe interface area, and really common for boot fitters who are working on boots. They just really like the workability of the TPU. So just to speak a little bit further about the Powerlight shell, as I was before, this bottom chassis, we call it the power chassis here, is a stiff density TPU material, so it's rigid.
And sorry, but TPU is a kind of plastic, right?
Yeah, it's a thermoplastic urethane. So it's just it's common reference. There's a bunch of varieties of it, but so it's a stiffer, a higher density in the bottom, medium density in the shell that wraps the foot a little bit better and do a little bit of shock absorbing, and then a soft instep to get easy to get your foot in and easy to get your foot out.
Cool, and this is a kind of free skiing and touring boot, right?
Yep, this is a free ride boot. This model is the Mindbenders are featuring a new walk mechanism. It's the Powerlock spine. So K2 boots are all featuring this spine mechanism, which is basically locking the stiff torsional chassis into the cuff. So it's basically taking that stiffness and wrapping it around around the back of the leg. So this is locking that in, and so it's a 50-degree range of motion with this walk mechanism.
50
degrees, yep. Really durable. It's also adjustable from 10 degrees to 17 degrees. So you can rotate the pieces of this upper mount as well as the lower mount. Also with there's a wedge, and you can create that different customized range or stance angle.
Oh, and then we're talking downhill performance. How aggressively you want to stand?
This is an aggressive skiing boot. So this is it's going to be just as hard skiing of a boot as our Recon boot. So a very powerful skiing boot. It's also very light. It's 1650 grams for a 26.5 on the 130 and the 120.
Cool. And if we go underneath and look at the sole, is it grip walk or what do you got there? Don't put it back.
Yeah, the outsole is, this is a grip walk outsole. It comes pre-installed with grip walk. We will offer DIN outsoles available for aftermarket as well.
All right.
Yeah.
So you can buy that afterwards and have perfect fit to the Alpine.
Binding if that's what you want.
And then these, I guess, will fit in the tech bindings as well.
Tech fittings, pre-mounted tech fittings as well.
Cool. And how do you do when you buy these? Do you heat them up both inner and outer shell, or?
The liner is Ultralon heat moldable liner, so fully heat moldable, usually on the heat stack while you're heating the shell in the oven. So again, fully heat moldable, fully workable boot, just like the rest of the K2 boots. It's a good boot fitter's boot.
And how width is the last?
The 130 and the 120 come in a 98 millimeter last. The 100 features a 100 millimeter last. We have the Mindbender Women's Series as well. Mindbender Alliance in a 110 and a 90 flex. The 110 again is featuring the P-backs cuff, TPU shell once again. The 90 is just as well as the men's Recon 100 feature a TPU shell and a TPU cuff. I didn't mention it before, but the Mindbender 120 men's, 130 men's, and the 110 women's also feature a cool new power strap called the Ripcord Power Strap. cinches down just like normal, and it has a really quick release mechanism. So it's just glove-friendly, quick release on the power strap.
Cool stuff. And what are like the major differences between the men's and the women's? Is it the height of the cuff?
Yep. The liner design and the cuff height are designed around the women's calf and cuff, so a little shorter for correct stance.
What is it that you have come up with here? What kind of ski is this?
We present split skis here, so foldable skis which you can use for ski touring, climbing, traveling. But the roots are in Army, Special Forces, where we tested since 2 years.
Cool, and you have to show us how this thing works.
Of course, it's very easy system. We call it Cascade Connection. So I will show you how it works. Only what you need to do is to take it out and close it. The main factor with this connection is that the skis doesn't lose the real flex of the skis. So it bends like a regular ski. That's the main factor, the main advantage of this innovation.
And you do have some metal plate here to stabilize it.
Yeah, that's the most important plate in this system. It keeps Cascade Connection stable.
And is it what type of ski is it that you have taken forward here? Is it a free ride ski or what is it?
Yeah, that's the free tour model. So you can ride mainly off piste, but there is no problem to ride it on piste.
And this connection, is it heavy or how much weight does it put on the ski?
Yeah, in general maybe it is 5% heavier than regular skis. So in fact, it's not a big problem.
Have you tested those in snow and skiing them a lot, or?
Yeah, we have quite long experience in skis production and testing. So we test every model 200 hours per season. So exactly this ski is after second year of testing and still alive.
This is a back protector which includes our, we call it Behold. It integrates our Ava technology back protector. It's the world's thinnest, the world's most ventilated and the world's most flexible back protector.
But how does it work when you get a hit? Does it compress or what happens?
It's stiffened up basically, so the molecules cannot really move that around. So what you get is something which is extremely flexible, and you can build in a lot of air into it, and that's why it's so ventilated. But then again, if it's exposed to high energy hits, you will get a humongous amount of shock absorption in it.
Cool, and then you have, so this is basically the protection, and then you've integrated it into a vest for adults.
Yeah.
Let's take a look on that one. What kind of feature does it have?
Well, it has optional waistband, which you can just slide in or out, and it's attached on the inside. So we want also, given the fact that it's so thin and flexible, we just want to do something which is more like a mid-layer vest and also looks kind of clean. And now I have a double vest on it, so maybe I'm a little bit fat then, but it's
looking good.
It becomes really, really flexible and super low profile, and that's basically what we aimed for. When there's a lot of guys out there don't using back protector because of their sweaty, bulky, and so that was the aim. These guys should have back protectors.
This is the Interstellar. It's a free ride tool. We like to call it a tool because we are about protection and functionality. Of course it should look good, but the main thing of this is the protection and the functionality of it. And everything starts with a lens. And being a protection company, we have worked with a lens to create maximum protection for impacts and also for UV light and blue light control. and also optical clarity and giving you maximum contrast when moving in the backcountry.
Retina illumination grading, and what does that mean in English?
It means that we are controlling the light. We are blocking 100% the UV light below 400 nanometers, and we're giving just enough light to give you the contrast that you need to move in the backcountry, but not so much that it gives you a headache after a few hours.
Can you show us the lens and what more features it has?
The lens is made from a high-grade polycarbonate. It is quite stiff to ensure that you don't get any distortion, and also it's extremely impact-proof. We tested this lens in the laboratory a few months back, and it exceeded our expectations, and the machine that we tested it with couldn't create enough force to break it. So this means that you have a product that actually protects your eyes in case of an impact. If you hit the shark fin going down a mountain when tomahawking down, this will protect your head.
Cool, and I noticed that there's a little hole on the lens on the inside, but I guess that is intentional.
Yes, this is our gore vent, which is equalizing the pressure inside and outside the lens. So this means that if you are going to the Alps, you enter the plane, the cabin pressure drops, which means that there are more pressure inside between the inner and outer lens that needs to be evacuated. And then you land again, the pressure changes, and then you take the cabin to the top of the mountain when you get to your mountain resort. And that means that the cabin, the pressure changes again. And then you need to evacuate this pressure without letting water come in and out, and this is a gore vent that we're using for this.
So it's basically it ventilates the air from between the two lenses when the pressure changes.
Pressure equalization, and the reason for this is to always keep the optical properties so that you see what you are doing, and it's not like you are looking through glass at the wrong direction. Everybody knows that it's really weird if you put your hand down into a stream, everything gets bent. So that's what we want to avoid.
Good, and when you clip the lens off, it looks like, do you have a solution there on how to do that?
Yeah, a lot of the rage these days is with magnetic fixation, which is very easy and fast to take on and off. But being a protective company, we don't want our customers to lose the lens if they are falling. If you're falling, you hit the ground once, you could fall, you could continue down the mountain and then maybe hit the rock, so you need your lens to be in place. So what we have here is a mechanical fixation. We call it the eccentric lock, and you drop your lens onto the frame, and it's fixed with magnets, so that it doesn't fall off, so you don't unintentionally lose the lens. And then underneath here you have levers that pulls the lens onto the frame.
Okay, so that mechanically locks the lens.
So now you can't possibly pull it off the frame. And also you have this nice little tabs here, so you can handle the lens without actually touching the glass. So you can have your crisps and change the lens at the same time.
Brilliant. And how about underneath the lens here? It's kind of dark, and you have. What's your philosophy there on seeing down, so to speak?
Yeah, on the lens here we have a small sculpture, and that does two things. One thing is that if you are moving in the mountains, the reason why you go snowblind if you don't have any eyewear is because you get all the reflected light from the ground up into your eye, so it overloads your eye. So what we have here is a small sculpture. It breaks the light coming from below, so that it further eases and takes away light coming from below, and it also strengthens the lens to give it the properties that it needs for protection and stiffness.
So what do we have here? It's a goggle and a helmet into one piece.
Exactly. So Visor Helmet is a strong segment. There is many customers for exactly this segment. It's great for people who wear prescription glasses or who want to have sunglasses on, but then still looking for a perfectly integrated solution for their helmet. And this is where the visor kicks in, where the radar kicks in. And I can maybe demonstrate you how it exactly works and how it looks like.
Yeah, please do, please do. Put it on. So if we start with the helmet, what type of helmet is it?
It's an in-mold construction, and of course it's a visor helmet. It has a visor on it. It's very lightweight, PC shell, and also it's all covered around the edges, so you don't see the APS. So also from a design standpoint, it's very upfront and it's very modern, looks sporty. And you pointed out before, it's the first visor helmet you saw that you don't feel is very ugly, and this is how we see it as well. So it's exactly this helmet for people who normally don't do visor helmets, and that's our group here.
Good start. And is there that's the BOA system in the back?
Exactly, it's BOA system, and also it has a completely new fit system. It's called Sphere Fit. Sphere Fit is also a patent by us. So the liner of the helmet is a free hanging construction, and when you adjust here the fit with the BOA reel, then you can already see that the whole inner part, which is free hanging, adapts to your head. So it's really snug and comfortable fit that you achieve by that.
Okay. Looks really good. And how about the ventilation? Is it up front there?
Yeah, ventilation is adjustable, so you have it here, many vent holes, so you have a nice helmet climber, very comfortable. You can adjust the ventilation if it's open or if it's closed or in a two-way, so everything there that you would expect from a helmet in that category.
And now to the visor then. How does it work? Sorry.
I can show this to you. So if you put it on, we also have a nice magnetic fitlock buckle here, so also this is very modern, so you can easily open it, click it, put it on, and then if you try it yourself afterwards, you will feel that the liner is really wrapping around your whole head. And then so you simply take it and close the fitlock, so everything is set. And then for the visor itself, you simply open it and then you bring it down, and it creates this whole integrated look here. Also on the lower section there is no wind coming in, so it seals off very nice. And because normally visors, they are mounted here on the side, so they come down and they have a fixed position. But this one here, you can see this already has this elastomers, so it pulls the visor to the head, which really adapts, and then everything is closed and integrated.
Looks really snug. It's no, we call it Gorby gap. If you have a gap, you know, there's no Gorby gap there.
No, there is none of this, so no gaper gap. And simply open it and close it, and then if you want to put it up again, do it like that.
Are the lens changeable, or is it always the same lens?
No, lenses are exchangeable. We offer certain categories here, and as easy as you open and close the visor, you can also change the lens. So you take this, so there's this elastomer. We tested this, by the way, 12,000 times, so that simulates a use of 6 years. And so you don't need to be too sensitive with this. You simply take it, and then you click out the lens here, and then you can change it. And you can also see that the lens, other than for standard visor helmets, has a very small volume. So you can also carry the spare lens in your jacket, and if the weather conditions change, then you simply pop it out, and then you take it again, and then click it in here in the lens, and you're good to go again. So that doesn't take more than 2 seconds.
Powder Bee is an avalanche safety drone. So the idea is that the skier or snowboarder who is in the backcountry has the drone in his backpack, and in case of an avalanche accident, you can pull it out and it automatically searches for the avalanche beacon.
Okay, and so you don't control it with any device or anything, or how do you fly it?
Well, for legal reasons, we need an app just to have you have to control in the end, but it does everything automatically. So you pull it out of the backpack and you extend the antenna, point it in the direction of the avalanche cone, and you press the button, and that's it. From there on, it takes over, takes off, and flies the avalanche search pattern.
And when it gets a signal from the beacon that it looks for, what does the drone do then?
The drone lands within 5 meters of the victim, and then you can do the find search like you normally would. And you can see it and you can hear it very fast. So even in fog or if it's windy or everything, it points to the right direction.
How stable is it if it's windy and so on? How often can it fly?
So we have wind stability up to 60 kilometers per hour by now. So it's slow then if it had the wind right in the face, but if it's wind from the back, it's actually good because then it's way faster. So we have wind stability up to then, and we tested in the Alps with, how do you call that in English? Like when you have a gust of wind at up to 100 kilometers per hour and it doesn't fall out of the sky, it still has its stable position and finds back on the way.
Sounds really good. And what about if there's any obstacle in the sky? Does it avoid that, or how do you manage there?
No, we have no obstacle avoidance so far. So we have underneath there's the sensor who holds the ground distance, so it doesn't fly into snow debris on the avalanche field, because we have right about like 1.20 meters or something above the avalanche surface, and there it can fly up and down and around. But if there's trees or something, well, I have to be honest, though, no chance yet.
So the powder bee will work in the high alpine when it's free, so to speak, above the snow.
Yeah, exactly. It's made for high alpine conditions where there are no trees or no face cliffs or something which could be in the way. So it's all for iterations in the future, because there's innovative potential for 10 years to come. But for now, what we can do now and what we can promise now is that.
And what is happening with the Pindung project right now?
With the Pindung project is happening that we have kind of like a finished product, so we're ready to go for the market, and within fall time you can buy it.
Okay, so you can buy it in the fall?
You can buy it in the shop in fall, yeah. For next season it's ready to go.
Wow! And what will it cost?
It's going to cost 499 euros for retail price, yeah.
And that's including brakes and everything?
That's including brakes, and something special about our turntable solution is that you can switch the brake, so it's possible to have different skis, and if you get a new pair which is wider, you can adjust the brake.
Okay. Not actually changing the brake, but adjusting it?
Adjusting it, yeah.
Super, so now Salomon Shift has a competitor.
They kind of like always had a competitor, it just took us a little bit longer, yeah. Okay. But we are happy about the Shift, because it shows the system's going to work, and for us it's the system for the future. Yeah.
Do you think they were inspired by you when they developed their system?
No, I don't think so. If you take a look to the patents and everything and how long such a product will take to develop, they started when we started, and we are a small company, and Salomon is a bit bigger, so they made it 1 year earlier.
Super duper. So let's go into detail and tell us a little bit about this binding. Maybe we should start with the toe piece.
Maybe we should start with the toe piece, okay? However, maybe we just start with the two modes, walking and skiing.
Yeah, do that.
Let's go back to skiing. Right now it's in Fortune. So that's now a normal classic turntable-based binding with the front part and the heel part. And the standing blade has just 2 levels. Now it's the higher level for the normal classic alpine boot, like multi-grip here from the Lange XT. If you have a freeride orientated boot, then it's just the lower level, 90 millimeters on the low level and 26 on the higher one. The rest is done by the binding itself. Just step into there and you're ready to ski. Full turntable skiing performance, teen setting from 5 to 14. Whenever you want to walk up, just open it. Move the back part from skiing to walking, so the stopper can be locked. Just open it. And our entrance for walking is like the comfort step in from the side. If you've done it once, it's easy. Just go to the front, and the locking is done by the boot with the first step. You can lock it completely, do the first step. So the stopper is locked easily. One climbing aid on one angle about 8 degrees, shoe size 42. We reckon it's definitely enough. Whenever you want to walk up, everything is fine. Reaching the top, just open the front. You step out, lock it again. If you forget to unlock the back part, you can't step into, because there's a locking in there. So, back to skiing mode. Step in there, ready to go. Full skiing performance.
Wow, and so DIN, what you said, 5 to 14?
5 to 14, yeah.
How much can the boot travel before it releases sideways, the elasticity?
Now I have to take a look into our catalog. At the front part, I think it's 25 millimeters. In the front, it's 25 millimeters, and in the back, sidewards, it's 12 millimeters as well. Yeah.
Cool. And can it travel lengthwise as well?
Sure. It's a turntable orientated, so all the power comes from the top. So this part is always, it's the most flexible skiing solution you can have from a binding.
Cool stuff. And how much will this Pingdong binding weigh in total?
In total, it's a little bit above 1,300 grams.
All right.
Including the stopper and the screws.
So 13 grams per unit, so to speak.
Per unit for one ski. Yeah. Yep.
So this is one of the 3 new Jetforce packs for next year. This is the Jetforce Ultra Light. So this will be one of the lightest airbags on the market. So with 1.8 kilos about, including the cartridges. So the major difference here is that we use cartridges instead of electrical as we have on the other bags. So BD wanted to make, so if we're gonna use cartridges, we should do it as light as possible. Yeah, so it's a real difference.
So this is the smallest in the Black Diamond Avalanche backpack family and cartridge system, but it's really light, as you say, but it's actually 2 cartridges, right?
Yes, so it's an Alprite system and they use 2 cartridges. So nitrogen gas and carbon dioxide, and yeah, so they work together and form a pressure, and it's the same system as you have on airplanes for the life jackets. So they're easy to travel with also. So maybe not as easy as the electrical bags, but easier than most airbags. Yeah.
And I've heard that these cartridges are sealed in some way. How does that work? How can they inflate then if they are sealed?
So when you pull the handle, so some needles puncture the canisters and deflate the pressure inside. So when you use them, you have to buy new ones, but the cost is not so great to buy new ones on these. Yeah, so about 50 euros. Yeah, for new ones.
So you buy new then for around 50 euros, and then you get 2 of them, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
It's not refillable. But let's talk a little bit about the backpack itself before we go inside. What kind of backpack is it, and what features does it have?
So it's very clean also, like BD likes to do the bags. But you have all the features. You have a helmet net, easy to access. You have to carry skis. You pull this out. You can adjust it. You have a little zipper here to hold the skis, and they're always attached to the back panel of the bags, so it's really stable.
And you can deploy the airbag when carrying the skis?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So that's why we have the diagonal carry system, so it's not in the way of the bag. Yeah.
Not good to do the A carry thing when you have an Avalanche backpack. Better to do it diagonal.
Yeah, it would be in the way of the bag. Yeah.
And I can see a little ice axe thing there as well.
Yeah, you can pull it also hidden, but you can pull it out here. So easy to access, but not in the way when you're not using it.
And compared to its bigger siblings, it's the waist belt is a little bit thinner. I see, because I guess it's all about weight on this one.
Yeah, it's about to save weight. Yeah, so with 1.8 kilos, so you have to make some adjustments. Yeah, and as you see, it's easy to pack. So the balloon doesn't take up a lot of space. And this pocket here is for shovel and probe. Yeah. Easy to access.
And the cartridges are a bit covered and protected there.
Yeah, so we open this. we see the system here. So you screw them in, and you can't do wrong because they are on different size. So you can't like place them wrong or do anything wrong. So pretty foolproof.
Det var höjdpunkterna från ISPO 2019. Vill ni se fler videos från den här stora sportmässan så kollar ni här uppe. Och de finns på våran engelska kanal och den prenumererar ni på här. Och självklart prenumerera även på den svenska kanalen. Så ses vi snart. Ha det gött. Hej!